Gordon Ramsay fell face-first into freezing Icelandic waters and almost drowned on camera. James Martin reduced his staff to tears when a blocked drain sent him into a rage during filming. And Gino D'Acampo? He was literally arrested after killing and eating a rat on a reality show. These celebrity chefs command kitchen empires and lecture us about cooking perfection. But even they can't escape those moments when everything goes spectacularly wrong on national television. From on-set meltdowns to criminal charges, here are 7 times celebrity chefs were completely humiliated, with millions watching. Number 7. James Martin's drain disaster meltdown. When you're filming a cooking show at your own house, you'd expect things to go smoothly. Not so for James Martin. During production of James Martin's Saturday Morning in 2018, the celebrity chef lost his cool when a drain became blocked during filming. What happened next wasn't revealed until 5 years later, when allegations of bullying behavior surfaced. According to production staff, Martin's temper erupted so dramatically that crew members were reduced to tears. The incident was serious enough that formal complaints were filed against the chef. Martin later apologized and explained his bad mood was because he was undergoing treatment for cancer at the time, saying he had learned his lesson. Still, having your behind-the-scenes tantrum made public years later isn't exactly the kind of publicity any TV chef wants. There were also reports of issues during the filming of James Martin's Spanish Adventure, where staff claimed he created a hostile work environment. Despite the controversy, Martin's career has continued largely unaffected, though his reputation certainly took a hit when the private meltdown became very public. What makes this incident particularly cringeworthy is how it contrasts with Martin's on-screen persona. Viewers know him as the affable, relaxed chef who calmly whips up comfort food classics. But behind the scenes, his do what we do and don't take any notice attitude apparently disappears when plumbing issues arise. In television cooking, timing is everything, and a blocked drain was enough to make Martin lose his composure completely, revealing the stark difference between his carefully crafted public image and the pressure cooker reality of TV production. Number 6. Paul Hollywood's Great British Betrayal. When the Great British Bake Off announced it was moving from BBC to Channel 4 in the UK, hosts Mel Giedroyc and Sue Perkins immediately announced they wouldn't be going with the dough. They were quickly followed by beloved judge Mary Berry, who also decided to remain loyal to the BBC. Then there was Paul Hollywood, the only original cast member who chose to stay with the show in its move to the commercial channel. His decision immediately branded him as the most hated man in the country, as Hollywood himself admitted in an interview with Radio Times. The backlash was swift and brutal, with viewers seeing his choice as a betrayal driven by money rather than loyalty. What made it worse was that Hollywood reportedly took the comments from his former castmates as personal slights, leaving him feeling isolated and betrayed himself. The once beloved bread expert suddenly found himself cast as the villain in a very British scandal about a baking show. Hollywood later confessed, "I became the most hated man in the country. It's not fun for someone who doesn't like being in the limelight." The public reaction was so severe that Hollywood's personal life began unraveling alongside his professional reputation. In a cruel twist of irony, a man who built his career judging others found himself being judged by an entire nation. And the scrutiny didn't stop at his professional choices. His marriage to Alexandra Hollywood ended around the same time, with rumors swirling about his personal life. For a man who reportedly described himself as private and uncomfortable with fame, the intense spotlight following his Channel 4 decision was his worst nightmare realized. Number 5. Bobby Flay's Iron Chef Walk-Off. Few celebrity chefs have egos as legendary as Bobby Flay, but even by his standards, this was a shocking display of arrogance. In 2017, during the filming of a special Iron Chef Showdown episode, Flay stunned everyone by dramatically ripping off his chef's jacket in the middle of the competition to reveal a shirt that read, "This is my last Iron Chef battle ever." The stunt wasn't just unplanned, it was completely unauthorized by the network. Food Network executives were so furious they reportedly had to edit around the incident for the broadcast. Sources claimed the network considered the move disrespectful to the show and its competitors, and it left everyone on set speechless. Though Flay later backpedaled and claimed it was just a joke, the damage was done. The network had to scramble to control the narrative, and Flay had effectively turned what should have been a celebratory cooking battle into an uncomfortable spectacle about himself. After years as one of Food Network's biggest stars, this public tantrum showed even culinary icons aren't immune to embarrassing themselves on national television. Number 4. Jamie Oliver's restaurant empire collapse. Jamie Oliver built his reputation as a chef who could do no wrong. With his casual approach to cooking and likable on-screen persona, he seemed unstoppable. So when his restaurant chain Jamie's Italian went into administration in 2019, the very public collapse of his business empire became one of the most humiliating chapters in his career. What made it especially painful was that Oliver had personally injected an estimated $23.1 million of his own money trying to keep the chain afloat. It wasn't enough. He was forced to close 22 of his 25 remaining restaurants, including his social enterprise restaurant 15 and his grill-focused barbacoa. The press had a field day as more than 1,000 employees lost their jobs, and Oliver's reputation as a savvy businessman was shattered overnight. For a chef who had built his brand on accessibility and quality, having his restaurants fail so spectacularly was a devastating blow. Oliver later admitted on the Young Again podcast, "It was utterly painful, and it was something I'd never, ever like to do again." Number 3. Gino D'Acampo's rat-eating arrest. In 2009, Italian chef Gino D'Acampo was in the Australian jungle as a contestant on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. After days of limited food rations left contestants desperately hungry, D'Acampo and fellow contestant Stuart Manning took matters into their own hands. They captured, killed, butchered, and ate a rat that had been running around the campsite. What might have been just a ratings-grabbing survival moment turned into a legal nightmare when Australian authorities stepped in. The RSPCA filed animal cruelty charges against both D'Acampo and Manning for killing a rat without authorization. The scene showed D'Acampo handling the entire process, from catching the rodent to cooking it over the campfire. The humiliation continued as both contestants were charged with animal cruelty, making international headlines. While the charges were eventually dropped in exchange for a fine from ITV, the incident followed D'Acampo's career for years. Imagine explaining to your peers in the culinary world that you have a criminal record for improper rat preparation on reality television. To make matters worse, D'Acampo proudly declared on camera, "I'm going to have a rat tonight, I'm not even kidding." The Italian chef, accustomed to preparing fine Mediterranean cuisine, was caught on film enthusiastically butchering and cooking a wild rat and serving it to his fellow contestants. The juxtaposition of the polished TV chef with his desperate foray into wilderness cooking became fodder for late-night comedians and tabloid headlines. When asked about the taste, D'Acampo's enthusiastic, "Very good, oh God, good tastes nice," only added to the absurdity of the situation, cementing this moment as one of the most bizarre humiliations ever experienced by a celebrity chef. Adding insult to injury, in 2023, D'Acampo faced additional allegations of inappropriate behavior on set, with claims that he made unwanted, sexually charged comments and was abusive towards crew members. The rat incident suddenly became just one part of a more troubling pattern of behavior, showing how a single humiliating moment can open the door to greater scrutiny. Number 2. Buddy Valastro's career-threatening bowling accident. For a professional baker, there's nothing more essential than your hands. So when Cake Boss star Buddy Valastro's right hand was impaled by a metal rod in his home bowling alley in September 2020, it wasn't just painful, it was potentially career-ending. The freak accident occurred when Valastro was trying to fix a malfunctioning pin setter. His hand became lodged in the mechanism, and a metal rod pierced through his hand 3 times between his ring and middle fingers. What made the story even more dramatic was that Valastro had to be rescued by his teenage sons, who cut through the metal rod with an electric saw. The injury required multiple surgeries, and Valastro feared he might never bake again. For a man whose entire identity and livelihood revolved around intricate handiwork with cakes, this was a devastating blow. To make matters worse, the accident and gruesome recovery were extensively documented and shared with the public, turning what was already a traumatic experience into a media spectacle. Valastro endured 5 hand surgeries over 3 years before regaining approximately 95% of his hand function. He even returned to television while still recovering, filming Season 3 of Buddy vs. Duff, with his hand still not at full strength. A humbling experience for a master cake decorator known for precision and perfection. Number 1. Gordon Ramsay's near-death experience in Iceland. When filming his hit TV series, The F Word, Gordon Ramsay almost died on camera while shooting in Iceland. The celebrity chef, known for his aggressive kitchen demeanor, suddenly found himself completely powerless against nature. While descending a rock face at the Westman Islands, Ramsay lost his footing and plummeted 85 feet into the freezing Atlantic waters below. "I'm just worried about standing on the side of this." Well, you seem to worry too much. Forget that. The irony of those last words before his fall wasn't lost on viewers. What made the incident particularly terrifying was that Ramsay, normally an excellent swimmer, was dragged down by his heavy boots. He spent 45 seconds underwater, desperately fighting to free himself while his film crew thought he had been killed. "I thought I was a goner," Ramsay later told The Sun. "They say cats have 9 lives. I've had 12 already, and I don't know how many more I'll have." The crew eventually managed to throw him a rope and haul him back to safety, but not before Ramsay had genuinely believed he was about to die on camera. For a man whose brand is built on being in complete control at all times, the footage of Ramsay helplessly struggling in the water and having to be rescued was undeniably humiliating and absolutely terrifying. This brush with mortality revealed a vulnerable side to the notoriously tough chef. Ramsay, who built his television empire on berating people for their mistakes, had made a potentially fatal error himself. In his underwater panic, he later revealed that all he could think about was his wife and children. The incident occurred at the height of his fame, when his brash persona was at its most potent. The sight of Ramsay being dragged from the water, shivering, frightened, and thoroughly humbled, offered viewers a rare glimpse at the human being beneath the intimidating exterior. Which chef's humiliating moment shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes disasters of your favorite food personalities. Remember, even the world's greatest chefs have bad days. They just happen to have theirs with cameras rolling.